As you mentioned, one of the key future battles with China is over artificial intelligence. But one former Pentagon expert says it's already over and China has won. Last month, the Pentagon's first chief software officer resigned over the slow pace of technological advances in the U.S. military. He told the Financial Times China has already won the AI battle. Quote, "We have no competing fighting chance against China in 15 to 20 years. Right now, it's already a done deal," he said. My next guest is an expert in artificial intelligence. Kai-Fu Lee joins me now from Beijing. He is the CEO of Sinovation Ventures, former president of Google China, and author of the new book, AI 2041, 10 Visions for Our Future. Kai-Fu, thank you so much for being here. Do you agree that China has already won this battle? And if so, what does that mean?
No, I don't. I think U.S. has a clear academic lead in artificial intelligence. China is faster in commercializing technologies, and China has more data. So that has been outlined in my first book, AI Superpowers. And in my second book, AI 2041, I describe the future in 20 years. And it's a future where US and China co-lead the world in technology. The competition is definitely not over.
So for those who listen to this Pentagon expert's warning and say that we are already 15 to 20 years behind, explain why you think the U.S. is still on the leading edge. And what are the implications? For most of us, AI is not a tangible thing that we can understand.
So if you look at academic success, all 16 of Turing Award recipients in AI are American or Canadian. There are 0 Chinese recipients. If you look at the top 1% of the paper published, they're still predominantly American. But if you look at the top 50% of the papers, yes, China has exceeded US. So it is true that young Chinese academic researchers are advancing significantly, and there's a larger number of them. And then commercially, I think if you look at how many unicorn AI companies there are, China will have quite a bit more than the US. For example, in my company, we've invested in 9 companies that have become billion-dollar companies that focus on AI. So the commercial success is substantial. And of course, whatever country has more data has some advantage. But that's more for commercial use.
Right.
And I think China has more people, more usage, so more data.
Let's talk about the military applications, though, because this is a warning coming from the Pentagon at the same time that the U.S. is concerned about China's advances with hypersonic technology. You're not a military expert, you're an AI expert, but how does AI applied to the military help us explain why this is such an important area for the U.S. to maintain global leadership?
Yeah, as you said, I'm not an expert in military. But one thing that is concerning AI scientists across the world is the use of autonomous weapons. That is, weapons that can pull the trigger much faster than people. It can lock on targets. It can do precise assassination. And actually, people in the AI community is very concerned about any country entering an autonomous weapons arms race. And such an arms race could lead to existential threats. So that's the angle that I talk about in my book, AI 2041. I don't know whether US or China is ahead in this space. I think both countries as you would expect, quite secretive about their progress.
Absolutely. Kai-Fu Lee, thanks for your time and expertise tonight. We appreciate it.